on, guys? Today we're under this 3500 Dodge Ram. We're going to actually remove the starter. There's a defect with the starter, and we'll show you what that defect is later. But if you want to come in, I'll show you where we're going to start. We've already disconnected the battery, so we're going to come over here to this positive battery cable. We're going to disconnect it. We're going to pull that nut down and everything. Then we're going to come to the solenoid terminal. We're going to unplug it from the solenoid. After that, we're going to hit these 3 bolts that basically connect the whole starter to the flywheel housing, and that's pretty much it from that point. And then we'll show you a little bit more as we go on. All right, guys. So if you want to come take a look, what we got here so far is we've already taken the battery cable off, and we've taken and disconnected it from the solenoid as well. We want to keep those nuts there so we don't lose them, as a precaution, because you can never find that crap after it goes missing. So now we're just going to go ahead and start taking out the 3 bolts. As you see, we've already cranked a little bit on that one. So we're going to go ahead and pretty much pull the whole starter out from here. So there's one here, there, and then there's one on top. That's going to be a tricky one. So let's get to it, man. Alright, so there we go. Now that we got it out, we're going to go test it and show you why we picked this one specifically and what that defect was that I was talking about earlier. So let's go get right on that. The way we can bench test this starter is we're going to take a battery, we're going to take jumper cables, positive to the positive battery terminal, okay? We'll take our negative and we're going to ground it out to the housing of the starter. What we're going to do is we're going to actually engage this starter. So by putting the test lead on the positive terminal, the other end of the test lead on the positive terminal, it'll actually engage the starter. Listen for the noise that it makes. This is going to be a loud rattling, and it's not supposed to make that noise. So if you hear that real loud clanking and rattling in there, that means that we have an issue with the actual hold in windings. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to go to another starter that's working properly and is not defective, and let you hear the difference on it. Alright? What's going on, guys? So we got this model here and we got it hooked up to our battery. If you want to come in and take a look, we got it set up, we got a key and everything. It's going to be like starting it right in the motor. So when we turn this key, you'll see the starter actually actuate and engage. And if you hear how smooth that is, it doesn't rattle, doesn't clank anything. That's what your starter is supposed to sound like when you're bench testing it. So next thing we're going to show you is a voltage drop test, and we're going to run it down to our starter and make sure that our starter is pulling and receiving the correct amount of volts to the system. The first place we need to start though is we need to check our source voltage. So we're going to check our source voltage, and it is reading 12.7 volts, so that's accurate. It typically sits around 12.65. That's a fully charged battery, so we're good here. The next thing we're going to actually show you is, or the next thing we want to check is how much volts is being pulled off of ignition. So like I said, we're going to go back, pretty much do the same thing. We got somebody in the cab, and we're going to just ask him to start it up for us. All right, as you can see, it's pulling about 2 volts. So that's fairly decent, but it's not terribly bad. You're going to have some kind of pull off of ignition. So the next thing we're going to go down to is we're actually going to test. We're going to go actually get down into the starter now. So what's going on, guys? So now we're actually going to test the solenoid. We want to make sure we get our voltage drop from our positive terminal on our solenoid. Clamp to the positive terminal. You can tell that that's the positive terminal by that red. That's actually a cable there. It's going to be connected to the battery. It runs all the way up in there. But yeah, so we got that other test lead hooked up to a negative test lead off of our multimeter, and I'll show that once we get up there. So let's go take a look at that. All right, so as you see here, like I said, we got the test lead hooked up to the positive or to the negative test lead of the multimeter. And then we got the positive end of our multimeter hooked up to the positive battery. This is going to check the voltage between the battery and the starter itself, making sure we got enough power down to the starter itself. So I'm gonna get my friend over here to crank it up for us, and we're gonna see how much it's actually pulling during the start. We're gonna see the voltage drop that we have. So if we can get him started up. All right, so as you see there, we got about 0.3 volts. So that's a good number. We want to stick between 0.2 and 0.6. We don't want to go any higher than that, because if we have anything higher than that, we got something wrong with the system. Either a cable's not connected right, we got some kind of resistance in there. So we want to try to keep it between those numbers. Like I said, it's not going to go under 0.2 because we're going to have some kind of voltage drop through it. So let's check. The next test that we're actually going to do is we're going to check from the negative battery terminal to the negative terminal on the solenoid. So let's jump right onto that. So the next test we're actually going to do is we're actually going to test from the negative battery terminal down, and we're going to ground it out on the housing. The starter, this starter, I'm pretty sure grounds out through the housing itself, so that's how we're going to test that. So yeah, let's get right down onto that. What's up, guys? We're actually under the truck now. We got this test lead right here grounded out to the starter. We're actually going to be testing the negative side of the starter. So up there we got our negative, we got our other end of the test lead to our voltmeter, and then we've got another lead going to the negative terminal. So we're going to test the voltage drop through that. Alright, so let's go get up there and let's get this voltage drop. Alright guys, so like I said, we've got that other test lead connected to one lead of the voltmeter, and then we've got the other test lead from the voltmeter to the negative terminal. Now we're going to get him to crank it up, because one of the main things about doing a voltage drop is the only way to get a voltage drop is by having an active circuit. So we can get him to start that up for us. Alright, so once again, as you can see, we got 0.3 volts. That's a great number that we need, and we don't want it to be too high, not too low either. So let's get on to the next test. Alright guys, so now we're under the truck again. Now we're going to take the voltage drop across the solenoid. Make sure we got power going through the solenoid on both sides. So like I said, we got it grounded out on one. That black lead is grounded out. Then we've got the red one, that's on our positive terminal. So if he wouldn't mind cranking it up for me, we can get our voltage drop. Awesome. So that one was a little low, but it's sufficient. Will be good. It's honestly something we'll probably need to end up looking into, figure out whether or not where we're losing voltage. So we'll get to figuring that out.